What's up, y'all? I'm getting this stuff together so we can proceed with tonight's launch and activity. So let me pull all this up. Okay. We can proceed with tonight's. Right, I'm probably going to have to mute something so I can see what's going on. Hold on. Trying to make sure everything is up where it needs to be. So let me pull all this up. And it's funny hearing myself with the echo. Hey Charles, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm gonna have to mute. With the echo. Right. I'm gonna have to mute this right Charles, here. How you doing? Good to see you, man. Okay. All right. So we're gonna give people a chance to come on, and I will definitely shout you out when I see you come up. I'm excited about this launch. I have literally been working on this all year. When I say all year, I'm not exaggerating. I've been working on this all year, and I'm so excited. That's why I wanted to do a Facebook Live launch to let everybody know when I'm releasing.
Hey, Lisa.
And also, of course, I have to turn my phone off. And, just bring in on what we're doing, okay? Okay. All right. So say something when you get on. Put a comment in the chats. Hello, Tina. I see Tina. How you doing? Put a comment in the chats so I know that you're here. And we're moving ahead. I'm going to give people a few more minutes to come on because I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to hear everything that I'm going to say. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to jump right on in. Hello, there's my sister. Hello, Sharon. How are you? So good to see you. All right. So tonight's launch is, well, earlier this year, I released a series of books called My Alphabet Is. Okay? And there are currently 5 books. Hey, sis. 5 books in that series. Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to create a series of books that begin to teach literacy for beginning readers, but I wanted them to be fun, engaging, and challenging. And what I mean by that is they're just not like common everyday topics. And even within the subjects themselves, there are, some unusual things. So I released 5 books in that series. My Alphabet is Yummy. That's sweet treats to teach your ABCs. My Alphabet is Colorful. But, I use some basic primary colors, but I use some stuff like burgundy, copper, aquamarine. I didn't just go blue, green, red, okay? I released one of my favorites. My Alphabet is Musical, where I actually teach ABCs using musical terms, and nobody does that. So if you love music or you have a musically inclined child or you want to get your child on the path of music, I did stuff like, A is for accidentals, B is for bass clef, stuff like that. And then number 4 was My Alphabet is My Pet. And I use pets from all over the world to teach ABCs. And then the last one was My Alphabet is Super. And that's where I'm teaching ABCs with superpowers. So each letter of the alphabet represents a superpower, like A is for aquatic powers, B is for blaster powers, and stuff like that. So you can teach ABCs, you can get kids started on the path of literacy, and enjoy your reading, because we don't want these dull, dead, dry books, okay? So what I've got now is something specifically designed to do several things, but it's for the Christmas season, and here it is. I think these are going to be backwards in the screen. I haven't figured out how to write that yet. So, Marcia, hello, Marcia, hello, Stacy. Shout out, say something when you hear, so I can shout you out and say hi. I want to be sure I see everybody. George, what's up, George? Yep. Okay, so the first Christmas book I'm releasing is called, I'm trying to get my head in that frame and get my big old head in that frame. My Alphabet is Christmas. I know that's backwards, okay? My Alphabet is Christmas, and this is the secular edition. Now, what I mean by the secular edition is it's stuff that's not the religious traditions, but more so things like artificial trees, blizzards, lots of snow, those fruit cakes that nobody wants to eat, ice skating, eggnog, things like that. Things that are just more having to do with, more American Christmas traditions, wrapping presents, elves, gingerbread people, that kind of thing. That's what this one is. And so as you go through, I'm going to go through the pages later, but that's book number 1. Book number 2 is My Alphabet is Christmas Christian, okay? And this is specifically about things that had to do with Jesus's birth, okay? And let me tell you, it was not easy to find, it was not easy to find a letter of the alphabet. Curtis is here. What's up, Curtis? Lisa, what's up, Lisa? Holly, hello, Holly. So good to see you. Say something when you come on so I can shout you out, so I can be sure I see everybody. Carlin. And also, I apologize for if the connection is bad. I have been working with this all day to try to be sure everything could broadcast well. And, I got the best router I know how. But anyway, so this one deals specifically with Christian traditions and Christian history surrounding the birth of Christ. Now, the reason that I did them separately like that is so that people could have whatever kind of focus they wanted in the book, because I didn't really want to mix them. Because if you didn't really want to focus on stuff that was more specific to, the birth of Christ or Christianity, then you have something where you can talk about, Santa and reindeer and all that other different kind of stuff. But if you did want to focus on that, that's what this one is for. That's why I did them separately. And here's the key, because I found so much information in doing my research, that's another reason I wanted to do separate books. Because what has happened with these books is several things have happened. But the main thing that's happened is this one in particular, the Christian book, although it works for the secular one too. There are 3 things going on in here. I'm teaching ABCs, like I've got I is for Isaiah. I know that's backwards. I wish I could make that not be backwards. I got I is for Isaiah. So I have the letter of the alphabet. So we're teaching ABCs and beginning literacy. But I also have a little bit of history. So with each picture that you find in this one, like Isaiah is an Old Testament prophet who foretold the birth of Jesus. Each letter that you find, you will find some type of history for that letter. So you will find out like the history behind it, what it meant. So they're not just random pictures or explanations. So you get your ABCs and you get some history. And then also at the bottom of most of them, you get some scripture. I don't know if you can see that. That one is Luke 1:32. Okay? Let me turn over to... Okay, now here's one of my favorite ones. Like myrrh. M is for myrrh. Most people don't know what myrrh is. You know that it was a gift. That's what myrrh looks like, by the way. Okay, and myrrh is a natural gum or resin extracted from certain trees used as a perfume, incense, or medicine. Okay? Now, probably off the top of your head, you didn't know that. Okay? I know that looks like fried chicken, but don't go there. So anyway, that's what I hope to accomplish, and that's kind of what I found out was happening as I was doing research for the books, is there were so many things that I wanted to touch on, so many things I wanted to communicate, because I found out so many rich things. Bill Eichholz, what's up, Bill? My son, D3. Hello, son, how are you? And so these books teach literacy for beginning readers, but they also teach history for our Christmas traditions, whether they are Christian or secular or religious or non-religious. And for this one, it also has scriptures in there so you can see what the Bible actually says. Now, why is that important? I'm glad you asked. That's important because there's so much myth surrounding both our secular traditions and our religious traditions. For example, Thomas, hey, what's up, Thomas? Good to see you. What a lot of people don't know is that Santa Claus is a composite character. Santa Claus, as we understand him and as we might think of him, a jolly, older dude with the big white beard, with the red and white suit, coming down the chimney, bringing the presents. That's how most people would describe Santa as we understand him. That's a composite character. Some of the men in history that Santa is based on were real in terms of like passing out presents and doing alms and good works for people. But the image we have of Santa comes from a painting back in the 20th century. And so that's why the painting of St. Nick. And that's why we got that image of him. But the idea of each one of his different ideas, like riding in a sleigh, like reindeer that can fly, like the red and white suit, like bringing presents, like elves making the toys, come from different cultural backgrounds. It's not just one thing. It wasn't just one dude that made up Santa Claus as we understand it. That's what I found out researching this stuff, and it was so awesome. And I said, I've got to put this in the book. So I couldn't just put the alphabet. I also wanted to put some of the ideas in there so you'd know where these ideas come from. And that is almost doubly true with the Christian book. And here's what I mean by that. Here's my favorite example. My favorite example is what we call the Nativity Scene. My sister laughing at my fried chicken comment. It's what we call the Nativity Scene. And in the Nativity Scene, you see normally Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, and then you see three wise men, and they're giving them three gifts, and there's, the animals and some other people. Okay, that is incorrect. That's not what happened. The wise men were not at the manger. The shepherds were at the manger. So when you see a nativity scene, it's supposed to have Dana, what's up, cuz? Good to see you. It's supposed to have Mary, Joseph, Jesus, the animals, and the shepherds. The shepherds are the one that saw his star in the east on the night he was born and came to see him in the manger. That's actually the nativity scene. But many times you will see what we call the three wise men. Well, the wise men from the east did not actually see baby Jesus until he was 2 years old. He was a little boy in a house with Mary and Joseph. It was 2 years later that the wise men saw the young child Jesus in a house, not the manger, and there's never any record of there being three of them. Okay? Never says that there are three wise men. It says they brought three kinds of gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Did not say there was three of them. It said that wise men from the east bought him presents. Do you see what I mean? Now, I know that, oh, what's up, Jerry? I know that goes against, so much of what we believe, because I love We Three Kings. That's one of my favorite Christmas songs, We Three Kings of Orient are. Bearing gifts we travel far, field and fountain, morn mountain, following yonder star. I love that song, but that's not accurate for them being at the manger. They were at the house when he was 2 years old. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I wanted to put into this book. I wanted to add, again, beginning literacy for people that are just starting out, young people, but also for parents and teachers. I wanted to be sure that they would study the history, that they would know the history, so that when you're teaching the traditions to your kids, they get the right idea. What's wrong with teaching kids the right idea around Christmas time? Okay, I personally, as a teacher and a parent, think that's very, very important. Okay, because as we know, kids are impressionable, and as we know, kids are our most precious treasure, the things that we are trusted with to raise and to shape and mold those young lives. And the impact of your childhood reverberates on throughout the rest of your life, and it reverberates even after you're dead. Because whatever you carried with you during your life, you pour into your children. And they're going to be pouring that forward not 100 years, but after you're dead. So that's why it's so important, again, to get the right ideas in here and in here when you're just a little one. And so let's go through some of that. I'll show you more specifically what I mean. Start with this one, second one. Okay. All right. D is for December 25th, the day we celebrate Christmas. Christmas, as we understand it, kind of started out as a pagan holiday, and it started out celebrating the winter solstice, okay? And they just end up picking this day at the end of the year because it was convenient. But it was originally meant to celebrate kind of the time of year, okay? And not necessarily Jesus' birth. And then those two traditions kind of got merged into December 25th. But it ended up being a celebration of the changing of the seasons, of the winter solstice, and everything that comes along with winter time. Okay? That's kind of where that comes from. Okay? Give you another example here. Well, fruitcake. We don't need to study the history of fruitcake. Okay, holly. What I found out about holly, man, I did not know until I did research, that people believe that holly had properties, not just medicinal properties, but holly could actually bless your house. Okay? That's why they used holly and mistletoe. Mistletoe's in here too. They thought it would actually be a blessing to the house. And it wasn't until way later until these particular images got associated with Jesus' birth. But, you know, in the Greek tradition, they thought that this was a way to get blessing in your house. It was really something else. Let's see. Okay, Jingle Bells. Jingle Bells. I got J's for Jingle Bells. I got the history in there, and I actually have the music in case you want to sing it. Jingle Bells is the most famous Christmas song in the world. It was written about the sleigh races held on the streets of Medford, Massachusetts in the 1800s. Did you know that? They used to race the sleighs out on the streets all the way back in the 1800s, and that's where Jingle Bells, the song, came from. See what I mean? I mean, it just changes everything when you start learning the history about stuff you've been looking at like your whole life. Okay? Okay, I talked about mistletoe. Told you about that one. Oh, I found out that a lot of people don't know that reindeer are actually real. Reindeer are real creatures, if you didn't know that. They can't fly like they do on, you know, in the Christmas tradition stuff, but they're actually real reindeer, okay? Hey, what's up, Sherry? So if you didn't know that, just look that up, and you can find that they're really reindeer, which I thought was really interesting, because that some people don't know. Okay. Okay. Okay, now, did you know, for example, all right, let me pull this one up. I want to pull this one up so I can show you this. What I was telling you earlier in the broadcast about Santa, about why they call him Kris Kringle, okay? A lot of that is Dutch and German, okay? Because there were actually dudes that dressed up like that and handed out presents to people that were struggling, people that were, I guess what we would call under the poverty level, okay? And it developed kind of into a legend and a myth that turned into Santa Claus, but there were really people who did alms for the poor, okay? Just similarly to that, but like I told you before, we got the image of Santa from that picture of Saint Nick, but there were really people who took care of the poor during the holiday time, okay? So that's what I mean when I say there's so much, okay, all right, somebody's messaging me. Of course, they're messaging me while I'm doing a broadcast, okay? So let's go back over to this one. Okay, frankincense. F is for frankincense. So remember that frankincense was one of the three gifts that the wise men brought to the 2-year-old child Jesus in the house with Mary and Joseph. That's what it looks like too, by the way. I know old school, that looks like that gold nugget rush gun, buddy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all that in my generation, you know that gold nugget rush gun, that's what that looked like. But that's not it. That's what frankincense actually looks like. An aromatic gum resin from various Asian and African trees used chiefly for burning as incense. Okay? That's what frankincense was. Now, if you do an even deeper dive into that, they were all gifts from kings for a king. That's why they picked those particular gifts, burning the incense. But that's what frankincense actually is, if you didn't know that. Okay? The scripture reference there is Matthew 2:11, and when they were coming to the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. See, 3 kinds of gifts, but it never says 3 wise men. It just says wise men from the east. Okay? I want to show you a few more in here. Ba, 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 ba. We did myrrh, right? I talked about the nativity scene. Yes. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay. This one was tough to research. Q is for Quirinius. Are you familiar with Quirinius? He was the governor of Syria during the days of Jesus' birth. Luke 2:1 and 2. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria. That's the one that Mary and Joseph had to go to. That census. That's kind of what started the whole ball rolling, because a lot happened to them when they got in the city to participate in the census. That's where that comes from. Okay? Ba, 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 ba. Okay. Now, T in this one, this is still the Christian one I'm looking at. T is for temple. But the central place of worship for the Israelites, Simeon and Anna saw baby Jesus there for the first time. There are some people that had gotten a prophetic word that they were going to see Jesus before they died. That's Luke 2:25-27. Now, there was a man in Jerusalem called Simeon who was righteous and devout. He was waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was on him. It had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he would not die before he had seen the Lord's Messiah. Moved by the Spirit, he went into the temple courts. Okay? So anyway, so that's what I'm saying. So whatever your tradition is, whether it's, Christian or secular, and I know there are other cultural traditions, but I couldn't make all the books. But whatever your tradition is, there's so much rich history. And as I said, 3 things going on with these books. Literacy for beginning readers, history so you understand the traditions that we incorporate, and then there are scriptures in the Christian one so you know what it actually said. Okay? All right. Now, let me see, trying to see who else is here. I want to be sure I shout you out. Right, on my folks. That's right. So, yeah, so what I'm going to do, I was going to have a guest on. I'm going to see if they make it through. I'm going to see if I can pull them up because I wanted them to talk to you. But we were having some issues earlier because you think Facebook would be simple, but not simple. So we're trying to do that split screen thing and trying to get them on the live chat and everything. But we're having issues with that before. Okay, so until they come on, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about what's going on with picking these books up. Okay. Now, right now, these books are available in ebook form on a pre-order, okay? And I'm going to talk about the print books in a minute, these actual physical copies of the print books. But also you can get these as ebooks on your pad or your phone or wherever you read your ebooks, okay? Now, they're available on the pre-order, and there's a pre-order price, and that price is $3.99. That price is only available for a short time, but you can go to Amazon and get that right now. So I'm going to put those links in the chat so you can go get that right now because that price is going up really, really soon. Okay? You're not going to be able to get the ebooks that cheap for that much longer. So I'm going to put those links in the chat right now, but I want you to tell me if you see them. Be sure that they come up, because I want you to get those ebooks right now if the ebook is what you want, because they're not going to be that cheap much longer. Okay, I'm going to put the secular book up there first, but tell me if you can see this and tell me if the link works. Okay. Okay, did y'all see that? Yep, now I'm seeing it come up, but I want to be sure that you can see it. Okay, Wanda, great. My sister's here, my other sister's here, great. She can see it, awesome. Okay, so that price right now is $3.99. I suggest you get that right now because they're not going to be that cheap. The reason I say that, link is working, great. Sharon, see Amazon, great. My sister's got my back. My sister's always got my back. So I want you to get that now because, again, holiday's going to be on you. You know, holidays pop by. You know, want me to do it, blah, blah, blah. And if you, when you go back, it's going to be more. Then you're going to be on man. I said, well, I thought David said it's $3.99. It's $3.99 now on the pre-order. So get the pre-order now. Okay, now. I'm going to put the other link up for the Christian one. And here I go. There we go. My alphabet is Christmas, Christian. And here's that link. Let me know if you can see that. And let me know if that link is working. Now, again, I apologize if I'm dropping in and out. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what's causing that. I've done some broadcasts on my iPad. I've done some broadcasts on my laptop, and I can't figure out what's what sometimes with that. So I apologize if there are dropouts. But please come back because there's more stuff going on. Okay? All right. Do you see that second link? Let me see if you can see. Tell me. All right, right now. How long is the pre-order price? Pre-order price is to the 1st of November, I think. To the 1st of November on the pre-order price. The $9.99 is for the print book. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. The print books, the one I just showed you, if you want to get those now. But right now we're talking about the ebook. Ebook is $3.99 until I believe the 1st of November, and then it's going to go up. So that's why go ahead on and get it now. And when you do when you do it on pre-order and you get that pre-order price, then it just downloads straight to your iPad or straight to your Kindle or straight to whatever ebook or reading device that you have. I'm thinking that I need to get like an upgrade on my iPad too, because I'm thinking that maybe my internet connection or something there is slow, because sometimes I get people telling me I'm dropping out when I'm doing broadcasts, and I'm like, how? This thing should not be dropping. But anyway, so yeah, this is a great opportunity to get the ebook at that price, so I suggest you go get it there now. And you know this is October 15th. You know you're only going to get busier as time goes on. And these particular books make great gifts and presents, because again, there's more going on with them than just teaching the ABCs and the literacy. There's also teaching the history and having a chance to talk with your kids or your students. If you're a teacher, now I'm a parent, and I've also worked in public school. I've also had my own private practice. Some of y'all, I just talked to one of my former students this morning actually, but I had my own private practice for piano and voice for years. So, I've worked with kids all the time, and especially when I was working in public school, I found that it's that personal connection that makes such a difference. It makes such a difference when the kids feel like you know them, you believe in them. Hey, Jen, thanks for coming by. When you know them, when you believe in them, you got that personal connection. The work level is different, I found out. I found out that the way your students work for you is completely different when they feel like you care about them, you know their names. Now, I used to do something, you want the Christian print. Okay, I'm going to get there in a minute. Okay, Sharon, I'll let you know. I'll let you know about that, and I'll get there in a minute. So I used to do something when I worked in public school, And if you ask any of my former students, they'll tell you. I used to do something called Mr. Taylor's No Excuse Homework Drill. One more time. Mr. Taylor's No Excuse Homework Drill. And what that was I would make all the kids put their backpacks down. I'd make them stand up next to their desk, and I'd make them look me in the eye. Then I would say the homework. Then I would make them say it back to me. So I'd say, your homework for tomorrow is pages 4 through 8, all the problems. And I'd say that back to me. Then they'd say it all back to me in unison, okay? And then I would say, now y'all got no excuse. You can't tell me you didn't know what the homework was. You can't tell me blah, blah, blah. It was so funny. We cracked up every time we did it. But they remembered that homework. And they knew they couldn't come back in my classroom talking about, well, I didn't know what the homework was. I'm like, yes, you did. Because whenever it was time for homework, I would stand everybody up, backpacks down, look at me, and we go back and forth. We do call and response. So you make the homework assignment come out your mouth. Okay? So it was fun and it was funny, but they remembered. And what I discovered was that they would come back the next day, they would run up to the front with that homework. They're like, Mr. Taylor, I got my homework done, splack the cacao. They would throw it down and see, I got it done, because they were so happy and so proud. So the reason I share that personal anecdote is because I want you to know that that type of personal connection with both your kids and your students makes a huge difference. It makes a difference in their learning. It makes a difference in their motivation. It makes a difference in their work ethic. Okay? And so that's another reason, because people have asked me, why did you do an ABC series? Because I wanted to deal with people that are just starting out, people that are beginning readers, so we can teach that strong love for literacy. Because if you love to read and you love words and you pass that love on to your children, they will absorb it. That's why I love to read this day. You know who put that love in me? That would be my dad. My dad took me to the newsstand when I was a very small boy, and he would get a newspaper, and he bought me, hey, what's up, Dan? And he bought me some comic books. Okay, and that's what started my love for comics. And those of you that know me, you know I love comic books to this day. Okay, my dad is the one. And I remember one time I was reading for him, and he told me to read him some stuff, and I read him some stuff from the newspaper. Okay, you know what my father said to me? My father looked at me and he said, that's what I expect from now on. He said, that's the level I expect from you from now on. And that started me on my hunger for reading, my love for books, my love for comics, my love for superheroes, because my dad put some comic books in my hand, and my dad put a newspaper in my hand and told me to read it. And then as I was reading it, as I was working through the words, as I was reading it,